How's it going, Shaq?
It's going all right. I just finished watching a limited series on HBO Max or
Which
what
one?
I call it called Scenes from a Marriage,
Ooh.
which is kind of a a rough remake of an older series by a filmmaker named, I think it was Igmar Bergman. I
Okay.
called Scenes from a Marriage, and it's just you know every episode is just a conversation or something of a couple who are in various stages of their marriage breaking up and what that
Oh.
looks like. But this newer version was made a couple of years ago, and so the married couple is Jessica Chastain and Oscar Isaac,
Okay.
and so there was only like 5 episodes that were probably roughly an hour each, and each episode is them having a discussion, and you're seeing them work through things and getting mad or breaking up or getting back together or arguing or having sex or something, right? Just
Okay.
but just pitiful. Like, just they're maybe they're on one end or the other, probably miserable at what is happening in their relationship at any point. Um it's not a happy like, you don't just I don't know if you just put that on when you're like, here's something to watch," but that's what I did.
Okay.
Let's watch these 2 people argue, and, because that is kinda secretly one of my favorite, like, movie genres is, watching white people argue in a house or out in the woods or in a parking lot. Like, I love that shit so much. Um So this was that. But it
Okay.
also did feel like a call, for help a little bit. And
Yeah.
I'm like, "No," at first, because when I started watching it, it was on a day that I just felt a little sad, a little depressed,
Hmm.
just a little lonely, and I also knew that that would eventually pass maybe, but for the moment, that's just kinda how I felt, a little gloomy, and I said, "Well, let's watch some people fight. Let's just really get in there. Let's just." And I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine, but, yeah, now I'm like, "Alright, what else can I watch where it's just people fighting?" Not like physical, but just like that's not Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, because that's like an old play and old movie,
Yeah.
and I tried to watch that once with, Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, and that one is hard to watch. But,
Mm.
after I watched this thing, HBO was like, "Maybe you wanna watch Blue Valentine," which is a movie with Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams, and, it's about their marriage falling apart, and I was like, "Oh, HBO, child, I saw that in the theater." Like, I'm already that's nothing. Um,
Oh,
so
man. That's like the rap fan trying to tell you about this new kid, Kendrick Lamar or something. Like, "Yo, let's come on, B."
yeah, man, come on, I already know about K Dot,
You
like,
know?
yes, exactly. I was just like, "That's old," I'm glad you have that, but yeah, so I'm probably, just looking for another show of, some white people just like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," just yelling at each other for no reason. I also, I wish there were more that were, black couples arguing in that same way,
Yeah.
but, yeah, I'll watch couples argue sometimes, which is very funny because last year, I feel like around this time, I was watching a bunch of, like, rom-coms for whatever reason. I was just like, "Let's watch people fall in love. Let's watch a bunch of romance movies." And now I'm like, "Let's watch them break up." It's been a year.
You've
It's
had your fun.
Yeah, it's been a year. Let's just nip this shit in the bud, It's,
Listen, I saw your tweet,
mhm,
had none of this context.
right.
I was very concerned. Like, I was okay, I know what's happening. Uh, like, just in general, like, modern relationships with friends, I don't call anybody. I was like, I might have to call a shot. Like, this might be a phone. I don't know if a tweet is gonna be enough to convey that
Mhm.
I'm here for you. Uh, so let me I'm gonna tweet this out, but I'm gonna wait a second. Depending on how this response goes, this might be a phone call. Uh, so I was waiting, but know that like I was in boxers and I put on
Uh-huh.
my pants, like just in case. It's like I might
Just in
have to
case
go
you
out,
gotta have
you
a
know?
talk.
Yeah, like if I gotta go out, I gotta walk around, I'm ready. Uh, but I like, all right, she good. I've been
Yeah,
melancholy before. I get that.
yeah.
But
No,
I didn't have that read at first. I was like, okay, this is a cry for help and I'm here for it. You know, I'm here.
yeah. Nope, I just was just watching people argue. That's all. That's what it was. By the next day, I was fine watching John Oliver, which in itself is very pitiful. You know what I mean? I guess I just like pitiful stuff. But, yeah, that's
I dig it. I dig it. I have not seen this show.
mhm.
I am a fan of Oscar Isaac. I
That
think
was the other thing that made me watch it, was that I realized I had not really I I don't know, like, Jessica Chastain's whole thing, and I didn't really know Oscar Isaac's whole thing. Like, there was a time where everyone loved him, and that's
mhm.
all collectively, the internet all wanted to bone him, and I was just like, "Who is this guy?" But now I believe the internet has moved on to Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Like, they all wanna bone him, and I'm like, "No, thanks. I'm fine, I'm fine." So, the only thing I had seen with either of them was there was the movie about Tammy Faye Baker, and Jessica
Okay.
Chastain played Tammy Faye in that. I think it's called The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and that was good. And then there was a movie called I feel like it was called Inside, um, Llewellyn Davis or something like that, but it's a Cohen Brothers movie, and it's about a singer-songwriter in the '60s, and
Mm.
Oscar Isaac was that person. And, and so I watched that, and that was also fine, but I also was just like, "Who is Oscar Isaac again?" Because on this show, he's playing a man who's Jewish, previously raised Orthodox Jewish, and
Right.
so he left his religion, but he's married to this woman, and so, I looked him up just to know more. My man is Guatemalan,
Yo.
like, fully Guatemalan. I'm like
Straight up, yo.
and he was, "Wait, what? Because he has curly hair? What happened? Why how did he get this?" You know, but he's, I guess, just ambiguously olive enough to play all kinds of people.
Straight up, yo. Like his
Yeah.
I think Isaac is like his middle name,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Because like
his
his
first
last
name's
names are all
Oscar.
Latino. Yeah.
Yes, like maternal, like,
Yeah.
last name
Maternal,
and
paternal
then
is like,
paternal.
yeah.
Yeah, like a whole it's the whole thing.
Straight
But
up. That's how we did my son. You know what I mean? His like if he ever goes first middle name, it sound like a full American name.
okay.
But like the
And
two
then
last names is all, so I was like, yo, whatever you get into, you got options, you know? Come in
that's
as a
very nice
sleeper.
of
You
that's very
know what I
nice of
mean?
you.
But
Mhm.
I like his work. I think he's dope. I think his Marvel series was slept on.
What
I
was
like
his Marvel series?
he did Moon Knight. So I thought he had one
Okay.
of the more challenging ones because he like the main character being him has like I guess like split personality kind of
Okay.
thing. So he has to play like like a character that's having an identity like identity issue. So he's playing like four different people,
Oh,
you know, as himself. Like the same character keeps same person thinks he's all these different people depending on how he wakes up. It's really odd.
gotcha.
But
Hmm.
he's phenomenal in it, I thought. Like really dope. But now I haven't seen this. I gotta check this out. I like his work. Also really like the Nicole Bahari. I think that's her name.
Yes, 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 she's in it
She's
too
dope.
in the first episode, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna have to peep this. I haven't seen I like when couples argue on TV. Um
mhm.
I don't necessarily go in to watch that, but I stay when I see it.
You
You
don't get
know?
uncomfortable? Yeah.
Yeah. I've enjoyed this is one of my favorite reasons for watching what is it? Succession? No, Billions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they're like it's technically not only a couple fighting, but it's like the same lady fighting in two different couples. Cause just like she's in her marriage, she's married to
Mhm.
like the attorney general
Mhm.
who's doing a case against her boss who's like a hedge fund manager.
Okay.
So like she is in the middle of both of these things because she helped the hedge fund manager start his fund. And she also is married to this dude whose job it is to take down financial institutions that cause crime. So
Mhm.
she's like fighting with both of them. And like the whole first season is like essentially them fighting, but also her breaking up with both of these dudes.
Oh, wow.
Really dope. I dig it. And also just like in general, I like seeing how rich people uh don't know what they're doing either, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
that's
that was
always
also
nice.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big component of the movies that I'm watching. They're, a family that seems to be well off, and their house is decorated in some way where I'm like, "Okay, they have money," and then they're just arguing always in the front yard or, in a quiet in some little section of the house, whisper arguing. Like, it's great. It's fantastic. I just love it. Who's good at that? Noah Baumbach? He's the guy
Okay.
who directed, is it called Marriage Story? With Adam Driver and, Greenberg. He's directed a lot of movies where the main male character is grumpy, um, and quick to argue about stuff, which I imagine that's what he is. I mean, you don't do, like, 6 movies in a row with a grumpy dude in it, not be a grumpy dude, you know what I mean? Um But I enjoy how he writes the arguments, and it's usually pretty funny. His movies are pretty funny.
Yeah.
He's with Greta Gerwig, so they met on, um, one of a movie that he made, and, uh, and then they got together. I believe he left his wife for her. And his wife was amazing actress Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yo,
And so I think he made a movie and the 2 of them were in the movie, and I think he and Jennifer Jason Leigh got divorced, and then suddenly he's with Greta Gerwig, and now they are making movies and children and whatnot.
sloppy,
It's so,
messy.
so messy.
Yo.
Oh, man. That's my kind of messy also, is my kind of messy is people who are in well, what used to be Miramax movies. Miramax back in the '90s is what A24 is today, of just, like,
Yeah.
making these weird little indie movies. That's what Miramax Studios used to make, but unfortunately, that was Harvey Weinstein. And,
Mhm.
so I can't even you can't even say Miramax without people going, "You support Harvey Weinstein?" I was
Real
like,
talk.
"No,
Our
man, I
podcast just
just"
got canceled right
I
now.
know, right? But I just like those '90s movies with, white people arguing, so that's who
Listen.
I end up following. The careers of anyone who can make a good white people arguing movie, I'm there for you.
I'm in. You know what I mean? I talked to Gabby about this, like, and a few so like, hey, me and Gabby don't like argue. I don't think much in general.
Mhm.
Like real talk, are like I've never gotten into like a yelling match like that for like sustained time. I don't get how
Right.
that like I don't we don't have that vibe.
Mhm.
Uh like if I'm really angry, I'll go downstairs and like watch a movie and I'll come up and like everything's normal again. Like I was like,
Right.
we need to reset. Uh and then we'll have like a talk like the next day. Hey, I felt like this. Hey, I
Mhm.
felt like this. Cool.
Sure.
That's what we do.
Right.
I don't I found out later, turns out that's healthy. And
Yes, that is healthy,
yeah,
but it
I didn't
also makes for a shitty movie.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, shorty, like I got no work. I can't draw art from this, honey.
No.
Okay. You
Right,
know,
yeah.
I need drama. Okay.
Yes,
You better
no.
throw something next time you mad at me, okay?
Right,
Uh,
exactly.
but
Yeah.
yeah, like Aiden has openly told us that like he's worried about his future dating life because we're like TV. And he's like, that doesn't happen. He's like,
Oh, what, where you're together?
the way he's worried about his dating life because he thinks me and Gabby have set like an unrealistic expectation. He's like,
I
you guys are a
mean
TV couple. He's like, you met your best friend, you married his older sister from the neighborhood. You guys don't fight. You're constantly kissing each other in the house and joking. He's like,
mhm.
it does. He's like, you. Every time we say a weird sentence, you guys think of a rap song that like goes with that sentence. Uh,
Yeah, no, I mean, he's young, so he could be wrong, but also my parents stayed together after my mother had a very serious illness that required someone to be a caretaker for her, and my dad became the caretaker, and statistics show that as soon as the woman in a couple falls ill, the man leaves. But when the
Whoa,
man falls ill, the woman sticks around and takes care of him. But more often than not, a ridiculous high percentage, men will leave because they can't handle it. And my dad stuck around and was
respect.
just like, yeah, no. So I was like, oh, this nigga's fucking it up for everybody now. Like, how am I gonna, what? Like, no.
You threw off the curve, my G.
Yeah, I'm like, "Hey, like, I'm not trying to find my father out here, but I do need to know that you will possibly stick around for when I have my stroke," and that's not
Wow.
a fun thing to say on, like, the 1st or 2nd date. So so I don't say it, but there's something about my vibe where dudes are like, "Ah, this bitch is gonna want me to be around." And so they dip. So, yeah, nah. So you're
Or
starting.
you've been loved by
Yeah,
your.
no,
That's not gonna work.
unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Oh, figure. You know what I mean? I'm gonna write a really boring rom com. It's gonna be like 5 minutes to set up, and then just hour and a half of me and Gabby watching other rom coms. That's the whole movie. So it'd be
Oh,
great. You know what I mean?
that's gonna
Shitty
be great.
ratings.
I can't wait to see that on Tubi. That's gonna be fantastic.
Hell yeah, yo. Let's get into the news.
Alrighty.
The number one perk that would get people to return to the office more often. That's right. If bosses want workers in the office more often, they'll need to start paying up to cover commuting costs, according to employees. Wow, wasn't expecting that one to be it. Workers who currently split their time between home and the office say the number one work perk they would get that would get them to return is the company covering commuting costs. 38% said so. The
Hmm.
benefit just barely edges out the next biggest desire, which is more privacy at the office for 34%. Meanwhile, 1 in 4 workers also say an office dress code is hampering their return. Respect. Okay. I thought
Okay.
that was going to be higher. Uh,
Right.
some 24% of workers said they'd be more accommodating of RTO requirements if they were able to wear whatever they want. That's
Mm,
according to a recent report from
okay.
video conferencing company Old Labs, which surveyed over 2,000 full-time employees in June. The cost of gas, parking, and public transportation aren't the only things keeping people from the office. The average worker spends $51 per day when they go to the office,
Mhm.
including 16 on lunch, 14 on commuting, 13 on breakfast and coffee, 8 on parking. That means a full-time office worker spends roughly $1,020 every month to report to the workplace, while hybrid workers spend on average $408.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that
respect.
sounds right, especially with that lunch thing, and 16's on the low end.
Yeah, that's definitely not New York prices.
Yeah,
Real
16, I
talk.
mean, 16 is 1 salad with 1 topping.
Real talk, B. You ain't
But if
getting
I
no
wanted
extra guac at Chipotle.
Yeah, but if I wanted chicken on that, well,
Oh, you want protein?
yeah, that means I don't get breakfast and a coffee, which I don't, but that's for my snacks. Like, it's one of yeah, it's absolutely you definitely there is a place also you gotta find a place that has a lunch that you can tolerate, you know what I
Mm,
mean? And depending on where you are, if you don't I don't work any place where, the restaurants around me are, meant for lunchtime people. Do you know what I mean? The
okay.
restaurants around me are fancy, first of all, so they're hella expensive, and they're meant to be enjoyed while you're wearing extremely expensive clothes and you want to chill on the sidewalk like you're in France. So,
Okay.
if you have, um if you have, like I do, an hour and that is it, and it's the same hour every day, and, that's the only time you get to go out of the office. Um, there's no real place where you can grab, especially if you have, like, an errand to run or something like that, so you're like, "Okay, I need to grab something quick, and then I can go pick up my prescription, or I can drop this off, or I can go exchange this," or whatever it is that people do on their lunch breaks or whatever.
Yeah.
You There's nothing really around me where I can do that. Like, for me, I there's a McDonald's not too far from me, but my walk there, probably, like, 10 minutes. Again, I have an hour.
Yeah.
And
Real
that's a
talk. That's killing your
10-minute walk.
lunch.
Yeah, that's a 10-minute walk to McDonald's. And who's chilling in the McDonald's to eat? No one.
Real
Um,
talk. And
yeah.
that walk back is never 10 minutes because you just ate McDonald's.
Yes, so you're dragging a little bit, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so, like, it's just and then a place did open up, like a taco place, very close to me, and it is and this is proof that there was no other place like it. After being open for a month, it is so packed that, the idea of getting lunch there is insane. Like, you wouldn't I wouldn't be able to it's packed with people. They
Yeah.
have, like, the standing tables to eat from, so there's no place to, like, sit or anything like that, and you just shovel it in your mouth and then you rush out because there are all these people waiting for your spot to stand in to eat their lunch, and the lines are very long, and, and this is still relatively quick, like, quick tacos, and so, like, it's the plate where I am, it's not meant for that, and then it's, like, in the Soho area, it's where there's a bunch of expensive things, so nothing is cheap. I found one place that I can get a salad with chicken, um, delivered, either a bowl with salad and rice or just all salad and chicken, and, like, maybe, some side, like, little 3 or 4 little dumplings or something like that, delivered. All told, it costs me, with the right tip and everything, I can get it down to $27.
Jeez.
$27. So I have to be like, "Well, I guess I'm paying $27 for a salad and 5 dumplings." Like, what? And that
Nah, B.
yeah, and I'm only in the office 3 days a week. What the fuck?
Yo, could not be me, yo. I be on the road doing stand-up spots.
Mhm.
My first stop is 7-Eleven.
Oh,
I
yeah.
get I get wheat bread, peanut butter, get some bananas, slice them up,
Mhm.
and a bunch of Gatorade. That's my diet for 2-3 days on the road. Uh, I don't know if I could work in the city. Everything looks super expensive. Every time I go to the city for like a midday podcast and like I get hungry, I'm like, nah, be disciplined. I only got $18 for this water.
Right. I mean, there are definitely I've spent, quite a few r lunch hours just walking around where I'm like, "Honestly, I just need to be out of the office." And then
Real talk.
I will buy, a Rice Krispie treat, and I will eat on that. You know what I mean? And honestly, I've been doing that kinda shit whenever I've worked in offices or worked retail where you only get, like, 30 minutes for a break.
Yeah,
And
that's
so,
madness.
you know what I mean? Like, those kinds of little things. I've worked those jobs for very long, so I can fall back into those habits, but I'm old. Why am I
Yeah.
still, like, skulking around trying to find a snack or you know what I mean? Like, ugh.
And yo, like I sincerely like know it was a traumatic experience for a lot of people.
Mhm,
But the quarantine like changed my life for the better in that regard. Like, I don't know if I could ever go back to like that kind of work life schedule. Even if like I stopped stand up and like I had to
mhm.
get a job, like
Yeah,
there would have to be at minimum 3 days a week where I'm home.
mhm.
I could eat what I want. I could straight up wear boxes the whole day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's too big a difference in lifestyle.
Yeah, I'm on a hybrid schedule now, and I think some of the powers that be would rather that we went back to in the office every day, but I honestly think that my coworkers would burn that bitch to the ground 'cause like, there's
There's no
'cause
reason no more,
yeah,
yo.
there's no reason. We figured out a way to do the work. We were out of the office for 2 plus years and still
Mhm.
managed to do the basic work necessary, even I dare say thrived,
Yeah.
and so, like, we know it's possible, so the idea that I have to go back in where I have to eat at this time because there's someone who has to cover my seat, and I only get it like, that kinda thing,
It's wild.
it's wild when I'm like, "Wow, there was a time where I could eat breakfast because I didn't have to rush out to
Yeah.
go somewhere,"
You
you
just gave
know?
me time back. Yo,
Yeah, and so, like, I that commute thing is serious because it's like 40 minutes. That's 40 minutes of a day that I'm
each
not
way.
rushing to get to yeah, each way to come back and all that stuff, where I could
Nah,
just turn
B.
it off and then just stare into space for, like, 10 minutes, and then boom, I'm home. You know what I mean? Like, I'm home,
Yo.
but, like, I just like yeah.
Nah, B. Much respect. I am all for working in person if that's what your job requires,
Mhm.
and that's what energizes you. I
Right.
just think that we realize that's not the case for everybody. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We stand ups, love being in person. One of the few times I'll tell you the inverse does not work. I did not like doing stand up on Zoom. Love doing stand up in person. 100% on
Oh,
board.
I didn't mind it on Zoom.
Really?
Yeah.
I
But it was a different set of muscles that I got to develop
yeah.
and use.
I
And I
enjoyed doing I guess doing well on Zoom felt okay. I thought
yes.
doing bad on Zoom felt worse than doing bad in person.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like that was just like, yo, I'm by myself in the house. I just ate it at
You
my
know what?
dream.
I didn't mind doing bad on Zoom because I was already home. And I was already home, so I was just like, "Oh, this is a bummer," but I didn't then have to get on a train to get
Mm.
home and then have all that time on a train or in a car or something thinking about what happened. To get
Oh,
home and then be surrounded by the things that would make me happier. I would definitely, like, shut off because I had, like, a ring light or something on me, and I would just close the laptop or I would just close the Zoom out and then just kinda sit there and stare out into nothing for a few minutes just to, like, zone out, and then I could just, like, shake that off and then walk over to my television and immediately put on, like, a music video that I like, that peps me up,
yeah.
and then I wouldn't then be stuck in a thing, but I'm telling you, those fucking ride homes after yeah, like, bombing in person and then seeing people not make eye contact with you as you just try to make it to the train and then seeing people on the train enjoying their lives, and you're like, "I don't know what I'm doing with my life." Like, I don't wanna see humanity when I'm in the middle of just like, "Ugh," you know? I don't
See,
know.
I see the difference now because like when I'm home, I'm with family, so I can't do my sulking when things go
Yes.
wrong. I
Right.
sulk in the car. So like I
Yeah.
start like if I have a bad set, I play like breakup R&B songs on the way home, and I'm like, what is this? Numbers in your pocket, and then like I'm good now.
Right, right.
I get it out of my system. But yeah, I don't have that when we did Zoom because like once the camera's off, like I'm dead again, and I didn't
Yeah.
get my segue time. But you do that when you on Zoom the way I would do it in the car.
Yeah, a little bit where I'm just like, "Oh, okay, I go immediately to that to feeling
Yeah,
better, and I don't see reminders of people in the world who are happy." Or, I mean, like, honestly, at that time, who was happy? Like, the train was scary during COVID, so I would be going out to these shows outside, like, nothing felt right. In person during that time did not feel right, And then I would get on the train, and there were a lot of people going through a lot of things, and I just we all just had to agree as long as you're, you know, living your life 6 6 feet away from me, then I guess it's fine that you're literally shooting up on the train. You know what I mean? Like, I had to just uh, do that. It was harrowing. I was happy to be in my bunker when I got here, so I mean, not to say that bad Zoom things didn't stick with me. I definitely sat there and I'm just like, "What the fuck am I doing?" Um, but yeah, like, it depended on the show. If it was, like, silence because everyone was muted or something like that, I was like, "I can deal with silence better than I can deal with everyone having their mic on and not realizing that if they talk, they can override my voice."
Yeah.
And so they're talking, and now that's what everybody hears. And so that's like its own thing that you have to maneuver. And if they don't like you and they're just like, I don't like this one, and you're like, cool. Well, everyone knows you don't like me. You know what I mean? Like, if that happened in real time and then I had to go wait on a fucking train to come take me home, forget about it.
If you would like,
If you would like to see us on Zoom to see how we struggle in different ways.
all you gotta do is like, subscribe to the show, baby. If you are Apple or Spotify listener, we appreciate your ratings. 4 stars. You refuse to stay 6 feet away from us. Know your place. 5 stars, you know that that's where we shine at 6.5 feet or greater.
Yep, yep,
Okay,
absolutely. Far
it's like
away.
it's just far away, baby. You know what I mean? Keep your distance for all of our good. Uh,
Right. It's still out here. It's still out here, everyone.
if you have any articles you want us to cover, please DM us directly on Twitter or Instagram at Silky Jumbo or at Gastor Almonte. I'm not saying any names because we didn't get to the articles this time, and it's okay. Uh, with all that said, I am the admittedly, yeah, I have a lot of like weird zits. I'm like going through puberty again, so I'd prefer if you stay 6 feet away, Gastor Almonte. You know, trying a new moisturizer. Let's see what happens.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? With the still wearing a mask. And never stop, never stop. Can't
Yep,
stop, won't
I
stop.
will slap a filter on my Zoom situation.
Shalewa Sharpe. Oh man. This has been a throwback to COVID era. Episode of the War Report. Catch y'all next time. Peace.